Chapter 14. Sri Sadguru said, though the world is varied and full of diversities, noble men endowed with highly philosophical outlook see everything permeated by Lord Sri Krishna. The true philosophers are those jnanis who are not troubled by the dualities of hot and cold, weal and woe, and who revel in the divine bliss which is free of any duality and is indivisible. Many in this world study Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita. Lacking in Vairagya, they go about considering themselves to be jnanis. Those who do not worship Sri Vasudeva, the Omnipresent, will never gain single minded devotion. It is certain that the illusion caused by Lord Vishnu, named Vishnumaya, cannot be overcome without devotion to Lord Sri Krishna. Hence, one should meditate upon Lord Janardana, the Omnipresent, always. Those who lack in true knowledge brush aside the concept of the omnipresence of Sri Vasudeva and view the world with discriminating eye and partisan outlook. Hence, they feel very sad. There was a Yatishwara named Sadashiva Brahmam. He was following a dharma of wandering saint. He was experiencing untold bliss as he saw the world totally permeated by Lord Vasudeva. Hence, he wandered singing and dancing like a lunatic, sometimes like an imp, and at times appearing like an inanimate thing. Every day he was troubled by people behaving like brutes and was beaten by them. Even then he was unperturbed as he had given up idea of identifying the self with the body and was lost in the consciousness of Lord Sri Vasudeva. Paramahamsa, as he was, he went around the three worlds, drunken deep into the luscious sweetness of the thought of the Brahman, with a dispassionate disposition and unaffected by dualities of heat and cold and wind and rain. With immeasurable joy, he used to dance unaware of the loosening garments, chanting the divine name of the Lord of Devi Lakshmi, Sri Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. A Muslim got angry at that. With reddish eyes, he took a sword and quickly cut off the head of the noble man. The exalted Sri Sadashiva Brahman was still dancing, singing the names of the Lord with untold divine bliss, unconscious of his amputated hand. Wonderful! Where is the comparison between the consciousness of the physical body and that of the absolute being? Is not the entire universe a non-entity for such realized souls? On this earth, preaching Vedanta, not backed by self-realization and self-experience, is a waste. Hence, reciting the divine names of Lord Hari, one can overcome the most formidable delusion of mind. The heinous and foolish Muslim got frightened and was astounded to see that noble man perfectly filled with divine bliss. At once he fell prostrate at his holy feet. The Muslim said, O Bhagavan, puffed up with the vanity of riches, I fail to recognize your greatness. Ignoring your amputated hand, you're laughing to my surprise. You're moving on this earth as the very embodiment of the untold spiritual bliss, devoid of sensory pleasures and anger. May I know who you are? Sri Paramahamsa said, I am not this body, nor am I this soul. I am not the sensory organs either. I am not the mind. I am the eternal supreme soul, which is the very embodiment of divine bliss. Though inanimate and inert, the entire universe has value and life because of brilliance of the divine knowledge spread by the supreme soul. The jiva absorbs that light as it is through the outer eyes, giving up the physical consciousness, directing the vision inward and forgetting the material world. If one can meditate upon the truth that everything is a manifestation of Lord Vasudeva, will he ever come to grief? Unless one gives up the idea of duality, between the Supreme Soul and the mortal soul, he will not be free from samsara. Hence, one should perceive Lord Achyuta, the indweller, Antaryami, everywhere. Bhagavan Vasudeva shines as the indweller in everyone, be he a Brahmana or a hunter or a thief or a butcher or a Muslim. Honor and dishonor, praise and abuse, and happiness and sorrow are not all all these emotional upsurges of the mind. Honor and dishonor, praise and abuse, and happiness and sorrow are not all these emotional upsurges of the mind. Those who consider themselves to be mere witness to these upsurges, to be the partial manifestations of the Supreme Soul and the personifications of the Supreme Wisdom, never get illusioned. Though I am a realized soul, I wander on this earth merrily. I am not angry with you, nor do I bear enmity towards you. I shall never curse you. Do not be afraid of curse. I shall move on unaffected as ever. You may also go home now. If you feel disturbed by your act of cutting my hand, I shall get it back in the original position using my mystic power. Sri Sadguru continued. Having spoken thus, Sri Brahmendra stretched out his hand normally as before amputation. Without anger, he consoled that Muslim kindly. That Muslim was also purged by the short-lived contact with that noble man, and hence he developed vivid knowledge and maturity and finally attained bhakti to Lord Hari. Thus ends chapter 14, entitled Sadashiva Brahmendra Charitam of Book 1 of Shri Vaishnava Samhita, composed by Shri Krishna Premi Swamigal.